continuing 4.4 today. So we're going to go 4.4 continued. And today we are going to factor where a does not equal 1. So again, remembering that we're using a quadratic, which is a squared plus ax squared. I'll just pretend that didn't happen. All right, ax squared plus bx plus c is our quadratic we're working with. The steps we did yesterday, I want to remind you, first I told you you had to undistribute the greatest common factor. Step 2, you draw your x. Step 3, we filled in the x. Remember, when we fill in the x, it's a times c on top and b on the bottom. Step 4, we solved the x. And step 5, if a equals 1, write your factors. Oh, thank you. If a does not equal 1, go to step 6. Step 6, we're going to draw a box. Step 7, we're going to fill in the box. All right, so our box looks like this. And we fill in the box. In the first spot is the first term of the trinomial, which is ax squared. The last spot is the last number of the trinomial, which is c. In our diagonal are the sides of our x, with a variable, of course. Step 8, undistribute each line and row, or column, I guess I better say column. And then step 9, write your factors. So again, they're not really, I have them written out in detail, so it's not really 9 steps, okay? So the problem we just had, number 36 in our homework, right? We took out a 7, and we were left with 2y squared plus y minus 3, I believe it was. Okay, so we're going to talk about factoring this one. We've already taken out the greatest common factor, that was 7. So now we're going to draw our x. Last number times the first, or 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, that goes on top. Middle number is a 1, that goes on the bottom. We fill in the sides of our x with 3 and negative 2, right? It multiplies to negative 6 and adds to 1. But now, since I have a leading coefficient of 2, I have to make a box. So my box looks like this. First term is 2y squared. My last term goes in the last spot, negative 3. In my diagonal, I put the sides of my x. 3 and then the variable, a negative 2 and then the variable. In the top line, what do I have in common in 2y squared and 3y? Y. Correct. That's the only thing in common, right? Yeah. What do I have in common in negative 2y and negative 3? Negative. Perfect. Negative 1. Up and down, what's in common in 2y squared and negative 2y? 2y. Perfect. And what's in common in 3y and negative 3? 3. So now all we do is write our factors. We have 2y plus 3. And we have y minus 1. That's it. Does it get any harder than that? No. I think we're good for the whole thing. I think we'll do a couple more examples, and then I'll let you be good for the homework. Yeah, I'm sure. Just a couple. All right, so does everybody remember doing this in algebra? Yeah. Okay. I preached it on you? Well, that's good. I hope so. So here's actually example number 1. Factor. Let's go with how about 2x squared minus 19x plus 24. That one looks good, right? All right, so first of all, is there anything I can take out of it? Nope. Okay, so I'm going to draw my x. Last number times my first number is 48. My middle number is negative 19. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 48 but add to negative 19. Good. Negative 16 and negative 3. Now, is my leading coefficient a 1? Nope, so I got to do the box. My first spot in the box, first term of the trinomial, 2x squared. Last term goes in the last spot. In my diagonal is negative 16x and negative 3x. It does not. Yep, it can go in either spot. Yep. So out of the top line, what's in common in 2x squared and negative 16x? And a 2. I agree, 2x. How about out of negative 3x and 24? I'm going to take a negative. So anytime the negative's right next to the edge, take a negative with it. Okay? Well, what's going to happen is if I don't take a negative here, when I go to take it out of there, I need to take a negative. But then those two wouldn't multiply back to 24, right? They both have to be negative to make it work. So that's why. All right, up and down, the only thing in common here in 2x squared and negative 3x is x. And again, see how there's a negative. We're going to take that negative out. And in common in 16x and 24 is in... Yeah. So double check and make sure when you multiply them back together in your box that you get the right numbers. So negative 3 and negative 8 gives us a positive 24, right? 2x and negative 8 is negative 16x. So just kind of quickly double check and make sure your numbers are right. Okay? Now we can just write down our factors. 2x minus 3 and x minus 8. Doesn't matter what order you write them in. Questions? No questions? Okay, let me get one more, and then I'll let you guys do the work, if you're good with it. If you honestly don't have any questions. Okay. Okay. Let's go with factor 4x squared minus 20x plus 24. So, step number 1.
24 times 4.
Well, can we do anything before that? Take out a 4. Thank you, Kay. You can take out a 4. So if I take out a 4, I'm left with x squared. Take out a 4 here, I get minus 5x. I take a 4 out of 24, I'm left with 6. Now I'm going to draw my x, and I totally agree with Evan. We take 6 times 1, right? The last number times the first gives us 6. Middle number is negative 5. Help me out with the sides. What are they?
3 and negative 3 and negative 2.
Good. Negative 3 and negative 2. Nice job. All right. Now, the leading coefficient is 1, so technically we could write our factors, but here's what I want to show you. I'm going to put it in the box anyway. I didn't notice that my leading coefficient was a 1. Okay? So I'm going to take this first term right here, and it goes first spot in my box. My last term goes in the last spot in my box. in my diagonal, I have negative 3x and negative 2x. So in that top line, the only thing common is an x. In the bottom line, the negative's right next to the side, and a 2, very good. Up and down, I can take out an x, and here I have that negative right next to the side, and a 3. So I have x minus 2, x minus 3, and then, of course, don't forget that front coefficient we took out of 4. So if you just want to do the box every time, you're welcome to do that. Okay? If you don't notice that there's a 1, just got to remember you always got to do the box. Okay? If you do not do the box and you have a coefficient that is not 1, it will not work. All right? Anybody have any questions? No? So excited you are. Okay. So we're doing 38 to 46 and 58 to 68 even. I cut out a middle section because I didn't want to repeat the same stuff over and over and make you do a ton of the same type of things. Okay?